Welcome to the baddest YouTube channel in the world. This is Rod OG, live from the OG community. How we doing today, fam? Well, I'm having a terrific day. I hope everyone out there is as well. But while you coming through and you're stopping through to watch these videos with the OG community, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, that bell notification, so these bangers coming right to you. But you know how we do, OG community. For my day one members, let's make sure anytime that we can, let's make sure we hyping these videos up and hitting that like button. That helps us get these videos through the algorithms so we can be the #1 community on YouTube. Without further ado, let's get into it.
You're going to see things that you've never seen in this country before.
The Trump administration releasing a batch of never-seen-before UFO files as the president promised.
And they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe.
He said, Tim, they're real. And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess.
It is time for President Trump to tell the world the truth about UAP and UFOs. And if anybody's can and will do it, it would be him.
One of the most unconventional people in the entire UFO disclosure ecosystem, covered in tattoos, a former artist, a former martial artist, but he's at the center of it all. This documentary, Sleeping Dog, that I just watched, this documentary provoked the release today of 2 of the videos that were first seen in the documentary, meaning the rest of it's probably real too. Jeremy Corbell, it's great to have you on. If this is real disclosure, what are we getting from the War Department here? What is this?
Right. So is this real disclosure? We've had people testify with their hand up to God and country that not just UFOs are real, that we have been reverse engineering non-human intelligence craft, that we have bodies, alien bodies. I don't know how else to say it. They call it biologics, just to keep it kind of more open. At least we have the pilots that are non-human of this craft. And if that is true, if what people risk to be able to say to the American public and to Congress under oath that this is all true, like David Grush, Dylan Borland, Matthew Brown, etc., right? Then what we need to know now is, what are the real questions? What are we being shown? We're being shown parts, as you said, and that this is fact, that in the documentary Sleeping Dog, we did a little provocation. We showed a little bit of some tiny things that, as journalist George Knapp and I will be putting out to the public.
Didn't know that I was going to do this, but I'm going to announce it on your show anyway.
Looked into it.
We're looking at it. Here's the thing. Again.
Okay, I want all the details.
Here's the thing. Every other president before President Trump could have said, hey, let's look at that and get the American people the information. What did he do? He stood up an interagency process with Department of War leading that effort to get out the documentation related to everything that you're talking about. Didn't know that I was going to do this, but I'm going to announce it on your show anyway.
Y'all see that, right? This dude keeps playing with his ear. He keep pulling on that ear. Some suspicious activity. He look a little weird too. He really does. I don't know if he's human. He might be one of those reptiles. Or maybe an insectoid. I don't know. Let's keep an eye on him.
We already delivered our first tranche of information to that committee, and they're going to be publicly releasing this information very soon.
He said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian-looking creatures, and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie or an Orson Welles book.
Americans, because there's something happening. There are unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
And they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So,
Ross, we're not alone. Well, we have got a potential major update in the UAP file story. So Jeremy Corbell just posted this, claiming Representative Anna Paulina Luna told him that the new director of Aero is now fully complying, working at the direction of the White House, and that those 40 plus videos that Congress had requested will be released. If accurate, I mean, that is a notable shift, because just recently, the big question wasn't whether the footage existed. We know it exists. It was requested. The question was why some of these videos appeared commercially in Sleeping Dog before the public release process seemed to even be complete. Now the claim is the official release pipeline is actively moving. All right. So if Luna actually said this, then the timeline just changed. You know, the bigger question now is this: what exactly is in those 40 plus videos? I'm looking forward to seeing. The UAP files have been released. So the first batch of the presidential UAP files just dropped. And in all honesty, I think the release itself is confirming the exact concern that a lot of people had from the beginning. Because what has been released so far, it's not shocking. You can tell it's controlled, it's measured. I think there's going to be a careful pace that happens. Exactly like the wording we talked about in the last video. Nothing's shocking initially. It's going to be slow and steady at first. That matters because now that the release has begun, the question changes, right? It's no longer, are the UAP files coming? Are they going to be released? The question now becomes, who decides what comes next and what gets delayed or withheld, right? So the sequencing here is very important. This first batch appears designed to kind of establish a process, and that tells you something important. This won't be a single event. It's going to be a managed rollout. The structure of this release now matters just as much as I think the contents that gets released itself. So let's watch the categories, watch the pacing of it all, and watch what gets emphasized. You know, the first release rarely tells you everything. It tells you how they want the public to enter this conversation. And it is quite a conversation. So I will be posting some follow-up videos highlighting some of the more interesting files. I've started going through them already. So look for those videos. I'll also post the links to check out the files yourself, war.gov/UFO, as well as alien.gov. I'm looking forward to how this continues to play out. It's going to be interesting.
The transparency that we've been asking for since 2015 just arrived. And it's heavier than they're letting on. On May the 8th of 2026, remember that date, the government just dumped 160 files they previously claimed didn't exist. Look at this. This is military footage from an encounter over Greece just 2 years ago. They're calling it a diamond-shaped aerostat, but the telemetry shows it moving at Mach 4 with zero propulsion. No wings, no heat signature, no sound. In the Apocryphon of John, these aren't just craft. They're described as shining wheels or chariots of the rulers. While the news calls this a national security issue, I want you to look deeper. it's the veil lifting? Or are the watchers simply tired of hiding in the shadows of our restricted airspace? I've spent the morning digging through a lot of TikTok trends, and people are waking up. The data don't lie. We're ready for the truth. Is this technology, or is it a return?
I killed 2 of them. Yes, they're mortal and they do die. However, in the process, one of them did this. All I remember is that he just kind of waved his hand in front of his chest, and the next thing I know, this blue beam hit me and just literally opened me up like a fish. And burnt my fingers right off of me. And it was some form of electrical force, because the kind of like being hit by a lightning bolt burned all my toenails off of me. Completely crispy crittered my left foot. Burnt the shoe right off of me. All I remember is the smoking remains, and I'm still conscious, but in and out of, I didn't remember much.
Boy, that's them kind of place the yacht should be at. Better stay the hell up out of there. I see that glowing light. That could be a yacht out there in them goddamn jungles. That's where they like to hang out at. I ain't fucking with them.
They aren't just humanoid, they're incredibly disturbing humanoid. That was the confirmation from inside the program when asked about the entities behind the controls. Welcome to part 6. Today we're moving past the technology and into the origins of the intelligence that has been watching us from the bottom of the ocean for thousands of years. The US government has been tracking this underwater facility for a very long time, but the logs confirm a chilling reality. They didn't just recently settle here, they have been active on Earth for thousands of years. Possibly even longer than humanity itself. We aren't dealing with a new visitor, we are dealing with the original inhabitants of this planet, who has been observing our entire evolutionary cycle from the deep. Many of you have reported seeing glowing orange orbs out in the sky at night. The logs explain exactly what we're looking at. Those aren't just UFOs, they are mobile research cameras. If they glow orange, they are scanning for minerals or biological life. But be warned, if you ever see them shift into a deep red, that is a sign of extreme hostility. They aren't just exploring, they are cataloging our world, and they have clear protocols when they feel threatened by us. And the big question is, are they building these crafts underwater? The logs suggest the facility is a hub, but the craft themselves aren't manufactured on Earth. The isotopes we've recovered from crash sites are chemically impossible to produce here. They are brought in from outside of our planet, assembled and deployed from that Atlantic facility. They come and go, treating our oceans like a highway, while we try to figure out what they're actually gathering. They have been here longer than we have. They look like us, and they are mapping our every move. Hit that follow button. In the next part, we're going deeper into the beings themselves. The government has studied these beings for decades, and what they've discovered about their physiology and what they aren't will change everything you think you know about the human evolution. Stay vigilant.
We're going to call this fake what if that's exactly why discoveries like this never get taken seriously? Because the second something looks almost human, people get uncomfortable. When you look at this alleged mummy found in Mexico, it almost matches theories like P47 perfectly. People like Amy Eskridge believed humans in the future could evolve into something completely different. Thinner bodies, larger skulls, different features, and honestly, that's what makes this creepy. Because maybe these stories about aliens were never about creatures from another planet. Maybe they were about us.
This apparatus does not move the man. It displaces the space around him. There are no moving parts, no combustion.
Revolution throughout the region, causing the collapse of Lebanon, Gaza. Revolution throughout the region, causing the collapse.
So, OG community, tell me, I know y'all see his throat. Is that not a mask? Or is that not a mask? Right there in our face. Right there in our face. You got to pay attention to the details. You got to pay attention.
Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Syria, and
it's moving. Like, it's moving. They made a mistake. That wasn't supposed to happen on camera. Let's get back into it, though.
well stop their ballistic missile program. So at the end of the day, the real center of gravity is the IRGC, the entity, the part of the U.S., the government of Iran that controls everything.
He's trying to move big.
This morning, a trove of images showing decades of unidentified objects is sparking curiosity among starry-eyed enthusiasts. The Pentagon releasing photos, videos, and reports of some 400 unresolved UFO sightings from the past 80 years, including this infrared video from 2013, taken somewhere in the Middle East by the U.S. military. It appears to show a star-shaped object flying erratically and leaving a trail behind. And in this audio from 1965, astronaut Frank Borman can be heard documenting an unidentified object while aboard Gemini 7.
Okay, we have several, looks like debris up here, actual sighting.
NASA transcripts from 4 years later are also part of this release. Buzz Aldrin telling the government he saw a possible laser in space. And these images taken from the Apollo 17 mission in 1972 show strange lights observed in space from the moon. Every Apollo mission has reported similar.
You also say you're a different species. So, which one is it? Are you a descendant of humans or not? Then how do you English? Answer me. If you don't answer, I'll administer another rabbit-scope gloves. Do you understand? Now, how do you speak English? So you just picked up English, just like that, because you're so smart, right? So you said you know the origin of the universe, but you did not provide an explanation. So I ask you again, how was the universe created? Answer the question. Really? But you can't create something out of nothing. Sure it is. Only a creator can make something from nothing. Wait, you just contradicted yourself. Wait, but you said there was an origin to the universe. Here it is. I caught you in the lie. Again, how was the universe created so miraculously? So, like, just happened, right? This universe is life, as you call it, inside of the consequence of this universe's physical properties. So, are you telling me we're just random? Yes. This universe is indifferent to so-called life. How so? Life is like every world can be destroyed at any time by multitude of events. Such as? 1, 0, 1, 2, supernova, solar flare, asteroid impact. So the universe doesn't care if we live or die? Correct. I don't believe that for a second. We're more than just random. As I said, you are not capable of accepting the truths of existence. So, if we're just random, then there's no meaning to the universe. That is correct. So if there's no meaning in the universe, then what's the point of living? You just contradicted yourself again. No, you can't live a full life. You can't live a life that off. Do you think that meaning is all made up? Your species conjures meaning, but operates under the false belief that meaning is a mystical plan. It is not. So, what is meaning? Meaning is what you make it.
Bitch, they actually dropped them. Or some of them. Okay, this literally just happened. This is part of the Pursuit program, Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP Encounters. Okay, they released Apollo 17 photos showing 3 mysterious dots above the lunar surface. It's full of shit, okay? And Tim Burchett went on Joe Rogan and said this is just the first drop. They're gonna have weekly drops after this. But keep in mind, this is a .gov website, okay? You have to go to war.gov/UFO to find anything about it. So I just want you to take it with a grain of salt, use discernment, okay? Don't believe everything that you read, but I'm diving in like a dolphin in the fucking ocean. Also, mind you, the Pentagon has missed a deadline to deliver UAP videos. Those are still missing. This is a drop from the War Department. Go to war.gov/UFO and you can find all the documents. You can download them.
UFO files released.
Guys, they have officially started releasing the UFO files. The Pentagon, the FBI, NASA, and the State Department just dropped 162 classified documents, and some of them are insane. Some of these files are photos and audio from the Apollo 12 and the Apollo 17 missions taken from the moon while astronauts were standing on it. They show lights in the sky that the crew could not explain, and one of them said that it looked like the 4th of July up there. Their best explanation for what was going on is that it was ice or paint from the rocket, but they literally said that that was a wild guess. Dude, these are files from the Apollo missions. They saw lights in the sky while they were walking on the moon. Holy shit. 108 of the files actually still have redactions, but the Pentagon basically just said to make up your own minds. Yeah. But this right here is just the first batch, and trust me, I'm gonna have more updates soon. And people are taking this so seriously right now that on Kalshi right now, millions of dollars are betting on whether the fact the government is gonna confirm that aliens exist before 2027. I am gonna be here every single time that new files drop, and trust me, there is gonna be more coming soon, so make sure you add me now so you don't miss it.
drinking because he got a big cup.
If you ever mailed your DNA into 23andMe or Ancestry.com, you're gonna want to hear this. Recently, author and philosopher Jason Reza Georgiani appeared on American Alchemy and claimed that he was told about a secret program involving DNA testing sites in the search for aliens living among us. According to the story, retired Army Sergeant Lynn Buchanan, who was part of the government's remote viewing program, was once approached by three beings claiming to be Nordics. You know the type. Tall, blonde, blue-eyed, almost Scandinavian looking, except they're not from Earth. And according to to this claim, these Nordic aliens escaped to Earth from a tyrannical government from their homeworld and have been living quietly in small towns in the Colorado Rockies for decades. But apparently, the CIA is now trying to find them. It's said that the Nordics have been here long enough to have had hybrid children and grandchildren with humans, and their descendants don't even know their true origins. Buchanan was told that former CIA analyst and UAP specialist Kit Green had supposedly found a way to access DNA databases and search for specific genetic variants linked to aliens. And remember for years when scientists used to call parts of our DNA junk DNA because they didn't know what it did? Well, what if it's not junk? When certain unknown genetic markers show up, that's the thing that certain groups may be looking for while trying to locate aliens who are otherwise hiding in plain sight. And does anyone remember back in 2023 when 7 million customers had their data breached from 23andMe, and then every director resigned with no explanation? You sent them a saliva sample, and they now have your complete genetic blueprint. And there's allegedly a backdoor for certain entities to see if you have non-human DNA. Now, I've already seen people connecting this to a theory about Rh-negative blood, a rare blood type with no clear evolutionary origin and no primate ancestor that we know of. It's been tied to these theories of being connected to aliens for decades. And I've also seen people saying that maybe they're not looking for aliens, maybe they're looking for Nephilim bloodlines from the Bible. Now, this all sounds super far-fetched, but sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Let me know what you think in the comments.
And the one thing that I feel like I should clarify at this point is the suggestion is not that these creatures are copulating with human beings. It would be that they're capturing us, studying us, extracting our DNA, and crossing it with theirs in a lab, like the way that we genetically engineer food is kind of what you're saying. Not like, okay, I get the science now when you put it that way, like a GEO, I understand it when it comes to making a tomato sit on a shelf for a month because it is the gene of some sort of Arctic fish. I got it. Okay, I'm with you there.
And I think it's a great point you make, because there's been speculation that perhaps these things don't necessarily want to clone and hybrid and look like us and be like us and act like us, thank God. But perhaps it's that they've lacked something as a perhaps reproductive capability, right? So they're looking at, okay, well, humans are very prolific. They obviously know how to reproduce. Maybe there's something in human DNA that allows us to find that way where we can now, reproduce again. Perhaps they've lost their ability to reproduce. We simply don't know. And again, this is mere speculation here. So let me just put this out there. That right now, these are just, if you were to go down the scientific avenue of why something would want to crossbreed with human beings, we are a very adaptive creature. We can live on virtually all 7 continents on this planet. We can swim, we can run, we can crawl, and we do a lot of things pretty well. We do have an incredible ability to adapt. We're found from northern snow regions all the way down into the deserts, and human beings can thrive. There's only a few places where human beings can thrive. We're even in outer space right now with the space station, right? Even underwater, you have these hotels underwater where people can scuba dive, and we are masters of our environment. And maybe there's something there.
Stop lying. We are not in outer space.
That's interesting or enticing to something that is definitively not human, and say, hey, these little furry monkeys over here have found a way to do certain things that we can't. Maybe there's something there that we want to look into. There's a whole bunch of reasons. Why do we study right now genetically cows? We do it all the time, right? Why do we study the animals that we do, whether it's a great white shark in the Pacific Ocean or a buffalo on the African Serengeti?
A new spaceship showed up in my home state of Nevada, and if you haven't seen the photos and the videos, I guess you're sleeping under a rock, because these are absolutely insane. Of course, it would have to be here in Nevada. Now, if you know what I'm talking about, just recently there was something captured out in the desert here in Nevada. No one knows what it is. Scientists, researchers, government. There is no clear explanation of what this unidentified UFO, interdimensional craft of sorts, is. Nothing. Now, I'm going to show you the photo, but I've looked at this over and over and over in high definition, in close detail. I've really dissected everything about it, and I don't pick up an intuition of interdimensional or otherworldly. However, it's definitely a UFO. It's unidentified. It literally looks just like, I don't know, like a flying carpet with junk hanging from it. Take a look if you haven't seen it. Honestly, at first when I saw that, I was like, is that a cow hanging from a grid system? What? I don't know. Let me know what you think, because there's been absolutely zero extraterrestrial or alien anything going on lately. So that's why we haven't been talking about it. If people have been talking about it, they're probably just making it up.
Do you both believe that they're hostile, Dan?
There's so many.
Hostile forces, entities, if you will.
I think that's to be determined. We do not know.
So we don't know for sure.
We don't know what their intentions are. Look, I interviewed 34 military government intelligence officials, Sean. They couldn't tell us any better than you could what the intention of non-human intelligent life is, right? All we know is that this is a real situation. It exists. There are UAP penetrating our most sensitive airspace. It is a problem.
The best way I can say, Sean, is it's not from here. I spent 20 years researching this topic, working this topic directly on behalf of the American people, and I did everything I could and did confirm that some of the things that they're seeing are obviously, completely terrestrial, whatever word you want to use there, from potential adversary nations, from defense contractors and companies here, commercial sources. However, there were still cases that we could not attribute to any nation on Earth, and that says a lot.
Do you have an update on the UFO files and when we're going to be seeing those?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. For some reason, and I guess it's just a reason that's been in the minds of people for a long time, that is such, they want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe.
He said, "Tim, they're real." And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess.
Much of what you're about to see has never been public before. The Pentagon now releasing another batch of its so-called UFO files after they were declassified by President Trump. And this morning, we got an exclusive first look.
More than 50 videos and other documents detailing strange objects in the sky, many of which the military can't explain, released in the second batch of the Pentagon's so-called UFO files. Inside never-before-seen video like this from 2024, the Coast Guard picking up this object as it flew near a plane over the southeastern U.S., and this taken by the U.S. military over Syria in 2021, following an unidentified object before it suddenly speeds off. The service member who submitted the video labeling it instant acceleration. Others seen flying in apparent formation. All part of over 200 files released so far detailing what the military officially calls unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, better known as UFOs, long an object of public fascination.
They want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material.
In the newly released records, this video from 2020, taken in an undisclosed area under U.S. Central Command, appearing to show a sphere fly.
I'm not gonna lie, the way Trump said that shit, excuse my language, the way he said it though was like, we about to feed them some bull crap. Anyways, we're just gonna give them something. That's what I'm saying. There's some other things going on. Mainly the Epstein files they don't want everybody to keep talking about. They keep trying to push this stuff off right here, this UFO information. But the way he said it, it just gave me a feeling like, yeah, we're just going to give them something to kind of keep their minds going. But let's get back to this video.
Over a population center, the pilot getting a closer look before it eventually flew higher off into the sky. And this account from a senior U.S. intelligence officer just last year, describing seeing two large orbs flare up alongside their helicopter while on a mission, saying they were orange with a white or yellow center and emitted light in all directions. Fighter jets then scrambled to identify the objects, but couldn't, the officer recounts, then writing, the same orbs we had encountered were now chasing the fighters. We were virtually speechless after these observations.
So we'll start with this clip.
Barack Obama said
that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
Shortly after that, he said this: based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Is this a nothing burger, or is this it? Now, based on Mr. Trump's track record thus far, if you were going to test this man on his resolve and think that he won't take action, you'd be sorely mistaken. I would argue this is the most prolific leader of the United States we've seen in a very long time, and is enacting upon what he says, whether it's controversial or not, quite effectively at the moment, as we're about to see with Iran again. So if there's any form of executive signing here, and he reads, you know what he's like with his ego, if there's any pushback from the bureau...
There have been some shocking moments in my investigations. I think that if what I have seen is put out to the American public, I believe it will be initially shocking.
Ross, we're not alone.
What have I seen? I've seen absolute convincing evidence that we are being visited, or that there are others that are here.
The answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates, and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
And the intent, where they're from, I don't know those answers, but I know that some people do, and I know that within our government are some of those answers, and the American people don't have just like a right to know. I think at this point we have a need to know.
I think they would they'd be alarmed about what it is, and I think mostly they'd be alarmed at why the government won't allow it out, and what's at the base of it, and you know, all the theories aside, whether you think it's extraterrestrial, if you think if it's something from this earth, you know, if it's the Russians or the Chinese or the Americans, which I don't think it is. And then maybe allow some of the pilots to talk and tell exactly what they've seen.
And they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So,
and the last briefing, I had some pretty incredible photos, and I think that you should have the right to see those.
They're here, meaning that they didn't just accidentally crash land and this wasn't some gas station stop, that they're here on purpose.
Underwater craft, something big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles an hour. And there's no fish in the ocean that would do that. We don't even have a sub that'll probably do 40 miles an hour under the... and the last thing he said before he left my office was, it was kind of weird because he didn't go out he went out the side door, which nobody ever uses. And he looked at me, he pulled me up close, and he said, "Tim, they're real." And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess.
I do think that it is so hard to trust right now. It is so hard to trust your own eyes and what you hear from people. I think there needs to be a large amount of evidence that is put forward to the American people.
No, Dave and I we had access and privy to some incredible information. And wait till the American people find out what NASA knows and what's been going on with the International Space Station, and before that, the space shuttle missions.
So we have, you know, records, as you pointed out, going all the way back to the early Apollo missions, where our astronauts were silenced. What they experienced on the moon was not able to be shared with the American people. Thank goodness President Trump actually stepped in and forced the release of these files. So while there's a lot more to be released.
We've talked to other governments about this. There's more to come.
Thank God he wanted to step in and release these files. but he don't want to release all the Epstein files. Interesting.
In the next 30 days or so, in talking with the Pentagon, actually this Thursday, we will obtain these 40 plus documents by name that we at the task force have been specifically requesting.
And they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So.
And wait till the American people find out what NASA knows and what's been going on with the International Space Station, and before that, the space shuttle missions. Nobody's ever seen before.
That thing did shoot off like Star Trek. You know how when they get ready to beam off somewhere and it's just like, yoom. Exactly how that shit looked. Thank you guys for sticking with me through another banger. This is Rod OG. Until the next video, love and peace.